All right, welcome everybody. So today we're going to finish up what we started at the end of last episode, which is try to get a system set up where we can link levels together, which lets us implement stairs or portals or other forms of transportation. And so one thing we'll need to do, oh, and by the way, I've got a fan running back here. If it's too noisy, let me know in chat and I can turn it off. Okay, so one thing we're going to need to do is right now we're only loading one level at a time in our game, and we'll need to load all of them and make multiple levels. So that'll be in our game.go file. And right now our game has just one level in it. So this will need to become an array of levels, an array of pointers to levels. And we will need to make load level from file, load levels from file. We'll just call it load levels. So this will be load levels now. And rather than taking a file name, we're not going to take in anything for now. Eventually what we'll probably do is take in a path. Because what we could do is have a subdirectory under the game folder that has multiple worlds in it. So you could have like world 1, world 2, world 3, and so on. And then each world folder would have all the level maps and the file that links them together. But for now, we're just going to have one. We'll keep it simple. And so back up here where we call it, we're not going to give it a path. So we don't need to pass a path into new game either. And main won't have to pass this. Okay. And load levels will now have to return a slice of level pointers. And so what we need to do now is we need to figure out how to get a list of files in a directory, which I have no idea how to do. So let's find out. Golang list files in directory. I'm not the first person to search for this. So ioutil read dir reads the directory named by dir name and returns a list of directory entries sorted by file name. That looks perfect. So let's try it. Do we already have ioutil imported? No. So let's get it. So we'll say, oh, is there a way to get, okay, I was wondering if there was a way to do read dir with a wildcard to limit what you get back, and there's not. So we'll just do that ourselves. So we'll say files is equal to ioutil.readdir, and we got to give it, I think, game/maps. Other slash. Filepath.glob. Someone in chat is mentioning. Let's see what that does. Drag Windows file path. That might be even better. Returns the names of all files matching the pattern, or nil if there is no matching file. Let's try that. So what's this part of? Path/file path? Good find, chat. So I think we should be able to say that, maybe. And that's probably going to return an error sometimes too, right? Yes. Okay, so at this point we should just have a slice of strings. So we should be able to say for file name in range file names. And then we're basically going to loop over this whole thing. Up to there. And already we see one problem, which is player is part of our level, which is kind of awkward because the player is going to be moving around from one level to another. So maybe that doesn't make sense. But every level could just point to the same player. We'll stick with that for now. But what we'll need to do is pull this stuff out. Because we don't want to make a new player for every level. There's just going to be one player, all pointing to the same player. So we'll say level.player equals player. And we'll pull all this stuff out. Yeah, we see we had a to-do saying we knew this might not be how we want to do it. We might pull it out of this function entirely, so I'm gonna leave this to-do here. Okay, check out this voodoo. Oh wait, didn't work. Why didn't it work? Oh well, works in Visual Studio. I do not know the secret incantations in VS Code. Okay, so now that's our one player, and every level will get set to it. And then we'll need our levels slice. Why is that getting a Boolean? Oh. Because we don't want the index, we just want the file name. We might want the index, but I don't think we do. Okay, so then level.player equals player. So once we're done making a whole level, we will say levels equals append. So we'll append the current level to our levels slice, and we will turn our levels slice. All right, so that should give us all of the levels loaded up. We need some way to keep track of what the current level is. And actually, probably what we want here is not an array of levels. We're going to want a map. Because remember, the main thing we're going to be doing is moving from one level to another. And we're going to be doing that by name, right? We're going to have a point on our map, which is going to be a portal to another point. And it's going to link a name from like level 1 to level 2. So having an array doesn't do us any good. Unless we added a name field to it and did a linear search, which would be fine. But a map will be easier. So this will actually be a map of strings to levels. I have the syntax wrong. Strings to levels. So load level is going to return a strings to levels. And then our level name is going to be the file name minus the extension. So we're going to need let's see, how do we get a substring? So index will tell us where, is there a last index? That would be, yeah. So we want the index of the last instance of .map. That'll tell us where the extension is. Then we want a substring from that index. Let's see. Count. We could use split, but that's not the most efficient way. Oh, we can just use the slice syntax. Okay, got it. What was this? The strings package. Are we importing the strings package? Nope. Okay. So extension index is equal to strings last index dot map. And then we want level name is equal to file name from 0 to the extension index. What else does last index need? Oh, of course. Okay, so I think that gets us our level name. And then down here, instead of appending, first we have to actually make a map. We need to make, instead of making a slice, we need to make a map. Let me add it to our map. And this should be levels plural. Then we need somebody to keep track of the current level. And we need some way to pick what our starting level is. We can't just go by file order because that could be anything. So let's say that the world file will start with the starting level. That'll be the first thing in it. So anywhere that we are referring to game.level before, we need to refer to current level. And that's all fixed up. And then what is this unhappy about? Ah, current level. So we'll say levels and for now we'll just say be a placeholder. Okay, let's see if this runs. Nope. 254. So let's do some debugging first. Make sure we're extracting the name properly. Okay, so there's one problem, is we're getting the whole path to the file name. So we also need the last index of a slash to make the slice we need. I think you have to do 2 slashes to escape a slash. Strings, that last index. So now it should be last slash index to extension index. Let's try it. +1. There we go. All right. So the reason it was crashing is because our name was wrong. Since our name was wrong, the temporary current level was not finding anything. We were trying to load a null level. But now we've got it. And we need to call line of sight on our current level. There we go. Back to working. But now we have all of our levels in memory. So we're set up to be able to switch between one and another. So the next step is we have to read in and parse our world definition. And we've done something similar already in our texture atlas. What do we call that? Load texture index. So this is very similar. And I'm looking at it to think about whether we should like pull out some common code to make like a generic comma separated value parser, which we could then use in both places. I'm thinking about it. Where were we? So what we could do with that, I think we will do that. Let's try it. It'll be good because this is something that could come in handy for all kinds of other projects too. And there probably is already some sort of CSV library. Well, let's make sure there's not one built in to Go. If there's one in the core libraries, maybe we should use it. And there is. What does it do exactly, though? Okay, it does what you would think. It gives you a slice of strings. So you're basically getting a table, a two-dimensional array of strings. Okay, let's try it. It'll be a good sort of educational thing, right? Here we did it totally by hand. And now we're going to do basically the same thing using a library and see how it goes. Maybe it will save some time or make the code smaller, and that will be good. Or make it more robust, which could be good. So we've got load levels. So let's do load world file. So let's see. Back to our CSV reader. What does it take in? Okay, so it just needs a string or some kind of reader. It just needs a reader. We can probably get a reader directly from the file, I imagine. Where does reader come from? From IO? Sometimes it can take about as long to figure out how a library works to do your own. But this is one that can be useful a lot of times. Okay, reader from, let's see, Golang reader from file. That's got to be a common thing. Okay, os.open returns a reader. OS file is an IO reader. Okay, so this is a reader. File satisfies the reader interface. So we'll just give it game/maps world.txt. Check for errors. I've been doing some Rust programming lately, so I keep wanting to type the semicolons. Okay, so now back to the CSV thing. Encoding/CSV is the thing we need to import. Let's look again at the documentation. So first you need a reader, then you call read all. Awesome. So the way new reader works, reader is an interface. So any type that satisfies the reader interface can be used by this. It's just providing functions that let it step through something and get the data out of it. Okay, so there's Rust again. So rows, we get our rows of data will equal CSV reader dot read all. And we can also get an error. So the reason there is a read all and a read is files can sometimes be really, really big. So if you didn't want to read all of them into memory, if you were expecting like gigabyte-sized files, you wouldn't want to read them all into memory at once. As well, reading from files can be slow. So you might want to read, one line at a time to save on memory, or so you can process things while you read the next thing. Our files are not going to be that big unless someone's really patient in building a world with a text editor that's massive. If someone does that, give me a call, we'll make you better tools. Okay, so now we've got our rows of data. So for row in range rows, I think the first thing I want to do is just print out what these things look like. And we should now be able to say for cell, I'm going to call them cells because it's like a spreadsheet. For cell is equal to range of row. Print line the cell. Oh. So here in new game, go ahead and call load work. Line 2, wrong number of fields. So does CSV Reader insist that you always have the same number of things? Like if I got rid of that, would it be happy? Okay, that's kind of lame. That's a pretty big limitation. Otherwise, though, it works perfectly. It looks like it's trimming everything. Let's test that. So I'm curious if it trims white space. So let's try putting white space. Okay, it doesn't trim white space. Oh, but there are options for these things. Trim leading space. Lazy quotes, fields per record. If fields per record is positive, read requires each record to have the given number of fields. If it's 0, read sets the number of fields in the first records. If fields per record is negative, we can have a variable number of fields. I like it. It's not hopeless. We just have to set some settings. So let's hop back into load world file. Negative. It's a little bit goofy, but that's okay. Trim leading space equals true. Comment, comma. Trailing comma. I think the rest of this is all fine. So let's put our variable field sizes back in. All right, now we're happy. Spectacular. All right, that's going to work. I'm going to take out the unnecessary mess. So that gives us a pretty robust CSV reader. So now what? So each row is going to build an entry in a map, I suppose, because we need to map a position to a level and a position. So one thing we're going to need is a struct that holds a level and a position. So pointer to a level and a position. And each level is going to need its own map, mapping positions to levels and positions. Right, because as we move around the map, when we hit, each time we move to a cell, we got to check it. Say, is this in our connection map? And if it is, switch the current level and put the player at this new position. So our level is going to need, we'll call these portals. Map of position to level positions. Seems legit. And load world from file. We should make this a game function. And then it will have access to the level map. So we know that the first row just has the current level in it. So if row index is 0, then we get the first item from that first row and set the current level. All right. And then continue. We don't want to do the rest of the loop in this case. All right, otherwise, we don't actually want to loop. We always know there's going to be 6 things. And the first thing is the level that's going to have the portal that goes somewhere else. So that's going to be row 0. And then the position, let's see, how do we convert our strings to integers? String convert.parseInt. So that's our position. We have to give the base bit size. Base 10, please. Oh, and these can have errors. There's a joke about having a button for if error is not equal to nil, return error. on your keyboard when you're a Golang programmer. It would be handy. Okay, that gets our position. So the level we want to add to its map is going to be game.levels, level with portal. The position is going to equal, well, we're not ready for it yet. Other thing we need to do is when we're loading a level, we've got to create the portal map. Okay, level to teleport to. It's a row of 3. And position to teleport to. Just duplicate all of this. And reuse our X and Y, 4 and 5. So now we make a new level position struct with our position to teleport to. And our level to teleport to. Actually, this should be game.levels of row 3. And this could do the same thing. We could say, save some times, save some lines. Oh, is it level first, then position? Okay, there we go. Looks like it might work. So there's some things we should check for here. Should check for nil here. And same thing for this level. Ah, it's a bunch of code. Think it works the first time? Nope. Load world file. Load world. Oh. We made it a game receiver. Now we can get rid of this temporary current level. Because once we've loaded the world file, current level should be set. And you can call line of sight on it. Undefined current level. Oh. We'll just start that out as nil. What else? One other error check we should do is this one. We'll distinguish these a little bit, so if we get them, we'll know what's going on. Level.portal undefined. 316 portals. Okay. They loaded. Good sign. So the final step is to, whenever we move, check to see if we've landed on a portal. And if we have, switch levels. So let's see if we can do it. Where's our move? Okay. So at this point, so what I'm thinking about here is if I do this the obvious way, what would happen is you would be standing here, and then you would press the right key, and then you would just be looking at the new map right away. And it seems like you ought to first go here, see it for a second, and then see the new level. But that is something we'll work out later. And that could be a detail that the UI manages as well. So we'll see. We can think about that later. So what we'll do for now is we'll say, let's see, level.portals of the to position. So the position we're moving to, we check level.portals. If the portal is not nil, then there is a portal. Else, do our regular movement. But if the portal is not nil, we'll call this actually level and position. It's more descriptive. Then game.currentLevel equals level and position.level. And player's position. Not happy? Oh, we don't have access to the game. So perhaps this should be a function on game. Where do we call move from? Find all references. Oh no, I've done something too hard. So from resolve movement. These are all level based, which is all wrong. We will make them game based. This should be fun. Player is equal to level dot player. Oh, we don't need to do that. Okay. So that's we don't need to pass level to move anymore, because it's going to know. So we do need this. Golang's telling us that was extraneous. Thank you. Okay, this looks pretty happy now. Change that all up to game. Is that it? Is that it? What could go wrong? Nothing can go wrong. Oh, I know it can go wrong. Our positions are completely imaginary at the moment, I think. Yeah, I just put in random numbers. So we need to actually figure out where our things are. So the downstairs, we'll hook it up, is at 19, 16. Actually, 16, 19, because column is X, line is Y. So 16, 19. And the up staircase, which is where we should come out, is 9, 4. I think it was actually 15. So 9, 4. 15. And then we should just reverse these. To have it go back. So it's a bidirectional link. Killed the rat. See what happens. Nothing happened. That's terrible. So let's do some debugging. get rid of some other debugging. Let's see if we're ever getting in here. Chat, if you see the bug, holler. Okay, we did hit it, but in the wrong place. So let's print out our position every time. $318. So it's off by 1 each way. Oh, because it's zero-based indexing. So here would be the portal. And that actually worked, which is cool. I think we just need to call line of sight on the new level once we go there. And then we need to fix our off by 1. So the text editor is showing 1-based indexing, or using 1-based indexing. But of course, in our game, the arrays are based at 0. So that makes sense. Oh, we're up. Oh, I see. Well, that's cool. So what's going wrong is the center that the UI is keeping track of needs to adjust whenever we go to a new level. Yeah, see, we're only adjusting by 1 here. So that's what we'll need to fix next time. So what's happening is the UI is figuring out a certain center position. And remember, we give some wiggle room where you can move around a bit before the level moves behind you. So what happens here is now the centering's off, and each time we move, it's just fixing by 1 at a time until we're back. But we now have a bidirectional connection between levels. And so at this point, we got a cool system, because just by editing a text file, we can string together as many levels as we want. We can make 1-directional or 2-directional portals. And we can make those portals look like anything we want, right? For now, we've just got the staircases defined, but we could make anything. You could have magic doors that don't actually act like normal doors that teleport you instead, and so on and so forth. All right, we got it working just in time, minus that UI fix, so that's pretty good. I'll hang on for a few more minutes in case there's any questions in chat about this episode or any previous episodes, anything at all. So for instance, we should be able to take out the second link there and have a terrible trap, which you cannot escape from. Yep. So another enhancement I'd like to do is have it not just snap to the next world when you drop on a staircase somehow. That would be good. Okay, so next stream, there's a few things we could work on. I will run by some options, and if you want to vote in chat, we could make our visibility boundary look nicer. We could work on some ways to do that. We could add music. We could start trying to add items in an inventory. We're definitely going to fix the centering bug, but that won't take long. If anyone has a preference, let me know in chat. Could be other things too, if you have other ideas. Let me know and we can work on it. I'm going to glance through all the to-dos we have so far. These are both done. I don't know if that's relevant anymore. Fix this and this. And that, we have made a function that checks to see if a key's been pressed. We have one vote for music, so maybe we'll do that. We can work on getting SDL mixer set up and figure out how to use it so we can play music and sound effects at the same time. It might be hard, I don't know. Sound is sometimes hard, but mixer should help a little bit. All right, everyone, good night for now. Thanks for stopping by.